Almost everything about the world of Path of Exile has changed in the past few days. There are a ton of questions lingering around the ARPG space about Path of Exile 1, Path of Exile 2, and both of their futures. Between all the developer interviews, gameplay showcases, tweets, and forum posts, I'm here to deliver super fast, quality answers to plenty of the burning questions and discussions. 15 of them, in fact. Additionally, I would like to elaborate on my initial reaction from last night. Immediately, let's get into the slate of these captivating new topics, everyone. Are Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2 separate games? Yes. Now, Path of Exile 2 will not be a massive expansion to PoE 1, as we were told before. However, Grinding Gear Games plans to develop both games simultaneously, crafting new expansions and leagues offset from the other game. There's a bunch of questions bubbling around this that I'm about to answer. Plus, on day 2 of ExileCon, they're going to answer far, far more. Will all my purchased microtransactions work in Path of Exile 2? Yes. All purchases in either Path of Exile 1 or 2 that make sense in the other will be usable. For example, any werebear microtransactions will not be usable in Path of Exile 1, as the werebear skill gem is not in PoE 1. However, you will be able to use any stash tabs that you've purchased in either of the games. Will Path of Exile 2 remain free to play? Yes. Despite it looking as good as, if not better than a AAA release, it's going to be completely free to play, supported by microtransactions and supporter packs. Will Path of Exile 1 ever get the updated player character models and animations of Path of Exile 2? No. It is very unlikely they will ever be updated per Grinding Gear Games. There wasn't a concrete reason given why, just that it's impossible. I'd theorize it's because a huge driver of players to PoE 2 will be the amazing character animations and models. PoE 1 and 2 are the same engine. Mechanics and monsters from PoE 2 are already in PoE 1, and future creations will be too. It's a huge shame, as this was one of the additions I was looking forward to most, but it'll remain one of the largest differentiations between the two games. What platforms will Path of Exile 2 release on? Initially, PC, Mac OS, Xbox Series X, and the PlayStation 5. It looks like Path of Exile 2 is about bosses. What will happen to density? In the initial gameplay walkthroughs, this did appear to be the case. Lots of the footage was of tiny packs and action-packed boss battles. However, upon watching some of the streamers like Mathil play, it was evident this is not truly the case. Packs are still huge even in the acts of Path of Exile 2. Plus, Kriparian directly asked Mark, the game director for PoE 2, about the slower, less dense gameplay. Mark flat out said the demos are intentionally slower to improve visibility for wider audiences. While PoE 2 will likely not be as zoomy as PoE 1, it might be possible to achieve that speed. One day. What will gold be used for in Path of Exile 2? Gold will only be used to buy items from non-player character vendors. It's possible it might also be used to gamble with vendors too. This is an absolute win in my eyes. Not a fan of gold here. When is Path of Exile 2 releasing? Presently, Path of Exile 2 does not have a release date, but it does have a time for its closed beta start, June 7th, 2024. Now, I'd guess for the holiday season of 2024 at the absolute earliest to be the release of Path of Exile 2. They are truly taking their time to deliver the best possible product. Honestly, it's quite refreshing in today's development environment. Even if I and many other exiles were looking forward to a release this year or early next. Can any gem be used on any of the 12 character classes in Path of Exile 2? Yes. This was confirmed by Bex after the keynote address. Just like in Path of Exile 1, you can mix and match any skill gem and venture anywhere on the passive skill tree. PoE 2 will be just as dynamic, if not more so, than PoE 1 with all the new systems like dual specializations and the 36 ascendancies. Remember, with this dual specialization system, you can tie specific gem and passive skill setups to different weapons you wield with ease, allowing for two easily accessible, completely different playstyles on the same character. Are there more new weapon types other than spears and crossbows in Path of Exile 2? Yes. There are flails and supplementary items like focuses, traps, and redesigned scepters. Additionally, it appears plenty of skills are quite connected to specific weapons, helping give each weapon class a particular identity. This was heavily showcased in Mathel's playthrough on a warrior with a two-handed mace. You might also notice traps are being mentioned as supplementary items. This likely means they're no longer skill gems, but actual items we might equip as exiles. Quite interesting. Also, shout out to Dreamcore, he predicted focuses arriving with PoE 2. Well done. What will PoE 2's endgame really look like? While this was not mentioned at all during the keynote, there is a blurb about it on the official Path of Exile 2 website. Like Path of Exile 1, PoE 2's endgame will revolve around maps. Initially, there will be over 100 maps, unique bosses for each of them, and sets of modifiers that alter their difficulty, much like today. There's no mention of the Atlas, so this could be attached to a new system entirely. Additionally, the page mentions it'll involve a bunch of reworked Path of Exile 1 leagues, and during the third trailer for PoE 2, the Atlas passive skill tree flashes by. This leads me to believe the Atlas will be involved in PoE 2, but it might be radically different. How fast will it be? How powerful will we get? Only time will tell, fellow exiles. What's up with Path of Exile Mobile? It's in active development and will essentially be a third Path of Exile title and living game. It will have challenge leagues, lots of Path of Exile 2 features, and be set 20 years before Path of Exile 1. It's a prequel detailing the lives of Dominus and Valdo, also known as the Shaper, who are two major foes in PoE 1. What are your unfiltered thoughts on all of this? Try. Last night while watching the Keystone Address, I was bewildered. I was shocked at the split, but the more I think about it, the more it does make sense. GGG obviously has a very clear vision for Path of Exile 2, and it is likely almost impossible to transfer over all of the legacy stuff from Path of Exile 1 without completely eviscerating the core game. I'm talking about legacy items, systems, and powerful characters, mostly. However, this is either an insane or genius move by Grinding Gear Games. Can GGG really maintain two massive ARPGs? I hope so. Will Path of Exile 1 inevitably die for Path of Exile 2? I would like to think not, especially if its tone is going to be very different from PoE 2. But even on that point, I'm not so sure. The more I ponder, the more I'm of the mindset that the gameplay will eventually be quite close to PoE 1 with some minor but initially impactful changes to the way we go about the game. Regardless, I'm still extremely excited for Path of Exile 2 and of course, Path of Exile 1. GGG are still the best developers I'm aware of out there, passionate and dedicated to crafting the best possible experience for all us players. My fellow exiles, do you have any other burning questions? If so, drop them below and I'll dig out the answers for another one of these little chats. Thanks so much for watching. You'll find all things ExileCon here over the next few days and beyond. I'm owning the ExileCon at home experience to the absolute max. Shout out to everyone directly supporting the channel via Patreon or a YouTube membership. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and if you would appreciate seeing more content like it, subscribe now. Additionally, check out these juicy videos on your screen. Every minute you watch helps the channel grow. To everyone who watched until this ultimate moment, Talo Moana.